Lukashenko checked the combat reliance of the troops. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky made a strong statement about Russians who support Putin while living in democratic countries. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak. I'll share more news later. Bryansk was quite loud today. The local so-called authorities claimed that they had repelled 170 drones. Electricity and heating disappeared in the city.
No, well, that's not funny at all.
It was also tense in Belgorod. Missiles struck a local thermal power plant. Meanwhile, the governor of the Belgorod said that people shouldn't expect hot water until the end of the heating season.
After a detailed analysis by our heating companies, power engineers, the latest destruction that our energy facilities received, we understand that those houses in the city of Belgorod that are connected to centralized heating will not be able to receive hot water until the end of the heating season.
Volodymyr Zelensky said in an interview with Politico that despite sanctions, Russians continue to live and run businesses in Western countries and feel comfortable despite the bloody war started by Putin.
Give this message to Europeans. Europeans made a lot, but didn't put still sanctions on nuclear energy of Russians, on Rosatom, on people, on their relatives, on their children, which live in Europe, which live in the United States, which study in the universities of Europe, which have real estate in the United States. So they have a lot of real estate. They have children, relatives everywhere. Go home. You don't respect anybody in the United States. You don't respect rules. You don't respect democracy. You don't respect Ukraine, Europe, etc. Go home. Why it's not right? So just, I think, to do what he can do. I think so.
The Kremlin is hysterical again. In his propaganda show, Vladimir Solovyov claimed that Germany is allegedly producing drones for Ukraine.
And proudly, with joy, they show how German drones produced in German factories. Not only that, even to applause, Pistorius admires it. The drones, which will bring death to the civilian population of Russia, will have not only the Ukrainian flag on them, but also the German flag, as a symbol of the devotion of the German Wehrmacht to the ideas of destroying the Slavs. Oh, now it's called something else, this Wehrmacht? Has something changed in essence?
Talks on the Russian-Ukraine war planned in Geneva. Russia changed the head of its team and brought back Medinsky. This may mean Russia is not ready to make real deal again.
What is the reason for the change in the composition of the Russian delegation at the talks and the return to the head of the delegation Medinsky? And in general, what will the composition of the delegation look like this time?
First, let's recall Putin's statement, which he has repeatedly made, that the head of the delegation of Russian negotiators is Medinsky. Putin made this statement before the first round in Abu Dhabi, during and so on. Therefore, Medinsky remained the head of the delegation of our negotiators. Why didn't he participate in the previous two rounds? Because it was about security issues that directly concerned the military. Therefore, a group was headed by Kostyukov there. The group consisted of the military. This time, we intend to discuss a wider range of issues, including, in fact, the main issues that concern both the territories and everything else, which, in fact, are related to the requirements that we have. Here the presence of the chief negotiator, that is, Medinsky, is already necessary. Indeed, the delegation would be expanded this time. In addition to Medinsky, Deputy Minister Galuzin and other officials will be there.
Is Kostyukov expected there too?
Yes.
Will Dmitriev be or not?
Dmitriev, yes, he works on a separate track. This is a working group on economic cooperation. It continues to work actively, and we expect that these meetings within the framework of this group will also be held in Geneva.
The Kremlin avoided mentioning Alexei Navalny for a long time, but today Peskov commented on the poisoning of the Russian opposition figure.
According to the joint statement of the 5 countries, which was made in Munich over the weekend, that 2 years ago Alexei Navalny was poisoned, killed by epibetadine poison. And then the head of the Foreign Office said that only the Russian state had the means, motive and opportunity to use this toxin against Mr. Navalny. Is this the reaction of the Kremlin?
Very negative. Of course, we do not accept such accusations, we do not agree with them, we consider them biased and not based on anything. And, in fact, we resolutely reject them.
Sanctioned tanker Veronica 3 was seized by the US military. As an explanation, the American side stated that the vessel had attempted to challenge President Trump. Japan's defense minister said at the Munich Security Conference that the war in Ukraine is not a local conflict. He stressed that North Korean soldiers are now learning from this war, with more than 10,000 already sent to fight in Ukraine.
North Korean soldiers have been sent. More than 10,000 soldiers have been sent to Russia. Russia have sent, North Korean soldiers to Ukraine. Then they are learning new way of fighting with drones, AI, and cyberspace, and with all domains, with conventional weapons. Then getting back to North Korea, then we need to think about what they are using for and who they are using against. So that's why I said Ukraine is not a distant problem.
Despite its policy and partnership with Russia, China continues to present itself as a neutral observer. This is what China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi said in Munich the day before.
On the Ukraine crisis, the door to dialogue is finally open. All parties concerned should seize the opportunity to reach a comprehensive, durable, and binding peace agreement, remove the root causes of the conflict, and bring about lasting peace and stability in Europe.
China could stop the Russian-Ukraine war very quickly. At the same time, Wang Yi spoke a lot in Munich about Europe's role and responsibilities.
Europe should not watch this from the sidelines. Right here in Munich last year, at that time, the United States had been started engagement with Russia, and Europe seemed to be left watching from the sidelines. And I said then that since the conflict broke out right here in Europe, Europe has every right to participate in the negotiation in due course. So I said that Europe should not be on the menu, but should be at the table. But now we're seeing that Europe has come up with the courage to talk with Russia. This is good, and we support this, but
Lukashenko reportedly visited a training ground to check the red lines of Belarusian troops for war. It all looked quite amusing.
I just wanted to see with my own eyes whether you are ready to fight or not. Well, there is a little joy, let's be so frank. They shoot, see targets. Well, you shouldn't have laid these flooring. He has a bulletproof vest, it is inconvenient for him to shoot, and who will put these flooring on the battlefield? It would be easier for him to shoot from the snow. He lay down, this bulletproof vest fell into the snow, it was comfortable for him, and so he was rushing about on this flooring. Well, let's assume that it is so. Well, maybe that's it, we haven't seen it. Count, look, report to me.
It has just begun. Today is the first day.
Yes, let him prepare.
Everything is objective. The units will be evaluated.
Of course, they are worried. The president is standing behind his back. I understand that there is a certain excitement. Well, so on this. Somewhere they hit, somewhere they missed.
Dear viewer, thank you for watching this video. Write in the comments where you're watching us from. It is important for us to know the geography of our audience. Support Ukraine. Together we will win.